Trojan Philly, what's up, man? USCJ here. It's the top of the morning. Listen, I hope everybody is getting ready to get up, get out, and make some things happen this morning. Listen, we got a couple things on the table that we want to talk about. USC and the quarterback play of the Big Ten is nowhere near as scary as it was last year in the Pac-12. Listen, before I name some of these names off, before we talk about these quarterbacks, I want you guys to think about some of the quarterbacks that played in the Pac-12 last year. But real quick, let me just do this real quick because I was kind of hurt and shocked by this news because I love this guy, man. You guys know this was Bill Walton. Bill Walton, long time NBA analyst, man. You guys know, when you listen to NBA or you listen to college basketball, you hear that voice, man. Bill Walton is one of those guys that you just absolutely you love as a commentator, as an analyst. And I think, he is going to be greatly missed. You guys know Bill Walton is from California, man. So, you know that his son as well played. Luke Walton played for the Lakers. You remember when he played at Arizona, it was straight up go time when Luke Walton. I mean, we had some of the best teams. Luke was up there shooting those threes, man. But Bill Walton sometime would do analysts commentating for the games for his son, man. So, he was just a big time guy, big time legend in every aspect of life. I believe all those who were connected to Bill Walton were better because of Bill Walton, man. So shout out to I can't remember the guy that posted it up, but I retweeted it yesterday on my Twitter. But look, my prayers and condolences are with the family. And also, you guys that spent time yesterday on Memorial Weekend, I hope you guys just really realize those who paid the price for us here in the United States of America. So we celebrate those as well. But I want to talk about the Big Ten quarterbacks, man, because my thing is this, and there's a new top 25 out too as well, a post top 25, post spring top 25. And wow, I'm going to show you guys that in just a second. After I talk about these quarterbacks, I was completely shocked. Lost in the Sauce on 3 put this up yesterday. Representative from on 3 put it up yesterday, and I was totally shocked as to this list. But when you think about the quarterbacks from last year, the Pac-12, and you start thinking about the quarterback play for this year, USC absolutely had to play, against the best quarterbacks. Bo Nix, I mean, you got to admit, he was, even though I'm not a fan favorite of his, he's not a fan favorite of ours, as rather, Bo Nix was not, he was a good quarterback. His mobility was what absolutely would destroy you. And then those short passes, Oregon had that offense tailor-made for him. So USC is not going to have to deal with the Bo Nix type of guy. Yes, we didn't. You got a guy like Utah's quarterback. We didn't have to face him this year, Cam Rising, but, just the fact that he's a warrior as well. He gets out there and move and groove, and he's an absolute monster of a quarterback. And then Jaden Delore didn't play as much this year, but he played ball last year. But then you have Fahita that came in there for Jaden Delore this year, and he was an absolute baller. And you think about him as well. And, of course, Michael Penix. Look at all the quarterbacks this year. Caleb Williams, Michael Penix, Bo Nix, all these guys went in the first round. That shows you that USC absolutely played against the best talent in the country and serious quarterback play, like hands down. Receiver play and quarterback play, I mean, it was second to none, even running back play. And so I think that USC is, as we go into the Big Ten, when I start looking at some of these names from the quarterback position, and I want you to think, these guys that put these numbers up last year for the Pac-12, Bo Nix, all of these guys, Michael Penix, Caleb Williams, the numbers were absolutely crazy. I mean, you're talking about 3,000, over 3,000, 4,000 yards. I forgot to mention Cam Ward as well. We played against him the year before. We didn't play against him last year, but the quarterback play was just at another level. And you guys know that the quarterback position makes the world go round. If you have a good quarterback, it's going to make the team better. It's going to, everything is going to come together much better. And I think, it's going to be straight up go time. So, but when we look at the Big Ten now, when we look at the quarterback play, I started looking at these quarterbacks yesterday, and I just started to say to myself, wow, I mean, it's not really anything to be scared of when you talk about the quarterback play. When you look at the best quarterbacks right now in the Big Ten, I will say you're probably going to give it, you got maybe a handful. A lot of people might say a guy like Dylan Gabriel may be one of the most experienced guys. I liked him when he was at Central Florida. Now he's at Oregon. Of course, he went to Oklahoma. I think he's probably, one that has the most experience, of course, between him and Will Howard. But let's take a look at some of these quarterbacks. So the first one, of course, I just discussed it. Well, I just mentioned his name. His name is Will Howard. Will Howard, of course, you guys know, balled out at Kansas, but Kansas State, but he only had 2,600 yards. So, but he does have a big body, and I'm not sure if Will Howard's actually going to start. Yes, they brought him in with NIL, and I'm sure those guys going to want to see a return on their money. But I've heard things in the spring practice that suggest guys like Julian Sand, and I can't remember the other guy's name. It's a guy that's more mobile than both of those guys who appeared to be balling out. But Will Howard, I would assume and think that Will Howard is going to be their starting quarterback for the Ohio State Buckeyes. And so he had 2,600 yards. But then the next one is going to be Dylan Gabriel. Of course, you guys know Dylan Gabriel came from, as I stated, excuse me, Oklahoma, and he balled out. You got to give props where props is due. And so, I would think those two guys may be the 1 and 2 as far as the best quarterbacks in the Big Ten right now. Who do I have next? It's up in the air at that point. You got guys like, I'm not sure who's going to start from Nebraska. Is Dylan Raiola going to start? He looked pretty good in the spring, but what happens when the real pressure comes on? What happens when you start getting guys with the blitz? Because you guys know it's hard to really judge anything if it's not real game time a situation. The spring, you guys know that you can only two-hand touch those guys. So I don't know how an individual can actually judge it, but when the pressure comes on, we'll see how mobile Dylan Gabriel is. Yes, he has a arm. He can gunsling it. We've seen what Miller Moss could do in the Big Ten, in the actual game as far as his mobility. He gets the ball out very, very quickly. So we know how he's going to react. We know how he's not going to take a lot of time in the pocket, but we don't know that for Dylan Gabriel. So that's kind of the situation we're dealing with when you're talking about quarterback play for a team like Nebraska. The next guy's going to be a guy by the name of Tyler Van Dyke. He's a redshirt senior. He didn't really pan out the way, everybody thought he was going to pan out at Miami. Transferred over to Wisconsin. We'll see how that works out. He has a lot of potential. He threw for 2023, he threw for 2,703 yards with a 65.8% completion percentage. He threw for 19 touchdowns, 12 INTs, 32 rushing yards, and 2 TDs. So those are his numbers on the year for last year. And then the next guy, you're going to have a guy that some people think that he's supposed to be the next big thing, but we'll see what happens when you look at the yardage. I'm not that impressed by the yardage, but the next one is, and here's what I want you guys to think about this. I'm giving you guys the numbers. I'm giving you guys all the yardage of these guys, but think about this. All these guys in the Big Ten, the yardage, the 2,600 yards and the 2,500 yards, they got multiple guys that are like that. Think about this. Jaden Mayava has more yards than all these guys, 3,000 and some yards. Will Howard, 2,600. Jaden Mayava has more than him. Drew Allure, Penn State, he's a junior. He's supposed to be considered the next big guy. He has 13 career starts. 2023, he had 2,631 yards, 60% completion percentage, 25 TDs, 2 INTs, 210 rushing yards. So, you got to feel good about where USC is, especially about with the quarterback play, as it relates to the quarterback play. I don't think what we getting ready to face this year, I don't think it's anything like we haven't seen before. That's how I feel about it. You guys can hit me in the comment section. You guys tell me what you think. The next one, when you look at Washington's quarterback, you guys know they lost their quarterback. They lost some other transfer quarterbacks, but now they got another one, came from Mississippi State. His name is Will Rogers. He does have a lot of experience, 40 career starts, but last year, 2023, only threw for 1,626 yards with a 59.9% completion percentage. He threw for 12 TDs, 4 INTs, 1 rushing TD. So that's Will Rogers' numbers on the year. That's not very, very, very impressive. That's what we'll face for Will Rogers when we look at Wisconsin's game. When we play when we play Washington, that's the quarterback. So you guys who drop those comments, you guys can tell me what you think. I think that there's a couple of other quarterbacks that'll be starting that we get ready to face that haven't been overwhelming as far as the number wise. Garrett Nussmeier, the first game of the season, LSU game, he's kind of in the same boat as Miller Moss. He did have, I believe that was against Wisconsin. They played a bowl game, but he has one career start with 18 game appearances over 4 seasons. He threw for 395 yards and 3 TDs in LSU bowl win over Wisconsin. You guys remember that? I remember that game. He did get the ball down the field. They both were gunslinging on both sides of the ball. And so when you look at UCLA's quarterback, you got a situation where Ethan Garbers. We'll see what happens with that. I don't know too much about Ethan Garbers like that. I don't think that's the one that came from Kansas State, but that's who their quarterback play is. By the way, let me just say this about UCLA for those who haven't been watching UCLA. UCLA has been recruiting like crazy. I was kind of wondering how the situation will work out with Deshaun Foster. I absolutely love Deshaun Foster. He was a great running back at UCLA. However, he didn't have any coaching experience, but he brought some guys around him, man, that I think is really it looks to be paying off. So I don't know if you guys noticed. You guys who dropped those comments, you guys could tell me if you guys noticed. They've been picking up a lot of quarterbacks, running backs. They've been picking up all kinds of players, and I'm impressed with their recruiting. Did you see where they just picked up the quarterback's brother, Nico from Tennessee? They just picked him up, a 4-star quarterback, and so that's a whole nother story. I'll talk about that. I said I was going to talk about that one day, but now Notre Dame's quarterback, we face him. His name is Riley Leonard, and he's going to be the quarterback in 2023. He threw for 1,102 yards with a 57.5 completion percentage. He threw for 3 TDs, 352 rushing yards, 4 TDs on the year. So, look, he's coming from the ACC, and, but that's the quarterback play that USC has to deal with. When I look at this quarterback play, I'm not overly impressed with the quarterback play. I mean, it is what it is. Michigan's quarterback, they are breaking a new guy in. I'm not sure exactly who their new guy is going to be. I think maybe Alex Orji. So we'll see what happens with that. But, look, when you talk about quarterback play, I told you guys it makes the world go round. And if USC could just have some type of run defense, we know that we're going to possibly have one of the best safety units in the country, hands down. Everybody knows that. I think USC is going to move and groove with the safeties, the cornerbacks, even the linebackers. We just need to get a push up front, and I think we're going to be in some good shape, man. So, look, you guys can hit me in the comment section. You guys can tell me what you think. I'm about to get out of here, but before I do, I want to show you this real quick. This is the post-spring, and it's the most lost in the sauce list. I know it's a little small. I couldn't even blow that up, but let's see. Oh, no. Cancel that. I know it's a little small, but I'm gonna go ahead and show it read it off to you guys real quick. Let me just say, just so for those who can't see, USC is not in the top 25 according to this post-spring top 25. That is the most stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. But they got Georgia 1. I'm gonna read it, and we're gonna get out of here. Ohio State 2, Texas 3. They have Alabama 4. How's Alabama number? I'm not even about to. How's Alabama number 4? They haven't even played a game with this new regime, but whatever. Oregon number 5. They have Ole Miss number 6. Michigan number 7. That you already know something is wrong with that with Michigan number 7. We don't even know what Michigan's going to be. Notre Dame number 8. Florida State number 9. Missouri 10. Utah 11. Excuse me. Penn State is going to be 12. Clemson's going to be 13. Tennessee 14. Miami 16. LSU 6, no, Miami 15, LSU 16, Oklahoma 17, North Carolina State 18. Disrespect is crazy. Number 19 is Kansas State, Oklahoma State 20, Arizona 21, Kansas 22, Texas A&M 23, Nebraska 24, and then you're going to have Iowa 25. Look, I'm not even going to elaborate on this because you guys already know it's a lost in the sauce list. They ought to be ashamed of themselves for even putting this up. They didn't even do themselves any due diligence. I mean, what the heck? But anyway, man. So look, man, I'm out of here, man. And until later on, listen, you guys don't forget there is some big time recruiting stuff that's getting ready to come up this week, man. And it's supposed to be a commitment coming up sometime this week, according to Scott Schrader from On3, man. So we'll see what happens with that. But this is a big time weekend, man. You guys know we got the May Bash and the June Bash. This weekend is getting ready to start it off. And you guys know I just brought a guy to you guys the other day and talked about him, the linebacker. If you guys haven't seen it, go check it out. I did that on Sunday. But it's a big time weekend, man. So look, we could possibly see some more commitments this week. You know, we always have success when those bashes take place. So look, I'm out of here until later on. Listen, everybody stay blessed. Don't forget, make sure you get up, get out, and make some things happen. Until later on, fight on, fight on, fight on.